part 2 of
Black and White Background. Back again.
Back to Emanuel in the studio.
Thanks, Mr. Mel.
ECM Foundation.
Now, you felt intimidated because you felt scared. There were men, but there were also black men. Why do you believe that you felt intimidated of black men? Where did that fear come from?
Because of the image on the news, the
Because of the
negative,
image-
the media reporting of the fact that whenever there were crimes on TV, the photo came up, they're black.
Right.
And it was like the violent crime, the trouble, the robberies, the burglaries, the stabbings, the gun crime, it's all just black people.
Right.
That's
Very
how it was reported and seen when I was growing up.
Very interesting.
And that coloured my parents' view, I think, about black people, thinking they were always causing trouble.
Okay, so
there was an element maybe of the fact that it was the case that was the reporting, so it looked like to me, it appeared that they were committing all the crime.
They commit all the crime.
To be fair.
Commit all the crime. So, and therefore, as you said, your parents also encouraged this view.
Yes.
Because, I mean, would you say that your parents encouraged this view because they also were brought up on the negative views
Yes,
of the
and
media?
yes, and I think from not having a lack of contact with black people, as I said, when I eventually got a job where I moved up north, I moved up to Nottingham, and I got a job in a university, and I came into encounter with a lot more people from all over the world. I think this is the key. If you mix with people of different races and cultures, you suddenly have your eyes opened and you're aware that everybody is the same, and you all your prejudices or preconceived ideas or views and opinions can change dramatically. And I became very good friends with a Nigerian, and we've become very close. But initially when I met him, a lot of people were warning me off him, saying he's after a passport, he's only after one thing. It was an immediate assumption if he's black and he's African, he's a scam artist, because all the email, a lot of the email scams from abroad tend to be Nigerian, actually. There is an element of truth in that. And also the fact that he's black, he's African, he's after sex only, or he's after a passport.
And this is what people would tell you? That
I think that's bit partly my own preconceived ideas, and also what other people, my friends and colleagues, would say to me.
Right, okay.
An image of the African male.
Right.
A kind of idea of the African male is the fact they sleep around, they are aggressive,
Right.
they're out for what they can get, they're not interested in commitment or loyalty. And I found that when I actually got to know that could not be further from the truth.
Right,
When he was married, he's separated now, but he never would have cheated on his wife. He was really family orientated, extremely educated, extremely intelligent, and it did surprise me, I have to say, how he was completely how he actually was, and how different he was from the idea that I had about African people.
If I can just go back just briefly, the media had a big part on your perception.
Yes, definitely.
Did you have was you exposed to any positive imagery via the media, music, television on black people? I'm talking about black people who were in, from civilized societies. Were you exposed to anything like that at all? Or?
I would say that I would think the music is a great leveler, and I think that whenever you listen to music, it doesn't matter. You don't think about colour or race or anything, and I think it's such the perfect medium for people to shed any preconceived views. I think music is I can't find the word I want to use, but it's I think when people listen to music, white people listen to black music, black people listen to... Yes, that's it. That's the word I'm using. It breaks down barriers. And, we all listen to all types of music, and it doesn't matter what colour the singer is. You love the song, and that is as simple as that. And I think that can have, a great potential in uniting people of different race, because I think people connect on a level in music. In the same way that people connect over football, I think that it's a universal language. If you meet somebody and say you like that song, it is, you connect, and and I think if it's a black person or white person, you both like that song, you can relate, and there is a connection. And the key is definitely education.
Okay, so that was your exposure to black positivity, because the music. Because you liked and appreciated the music that was coming from black
Michael
people.
Jackson. I grew up with Michael Jackson.
Perfect example, Michael Jackson. So therefore that was like an element, if you like, of the breaking down of the barrier, so to speak. Because prior to that, you never had much experience with black people. But once you started to get involved or started to appreciate the music, it started to introduce to you another viewpoint
Yes.
on black people. So the music had a big part for you. You're saying.
I would say I think for a lot of people, I would
For a
say
lot of
that
people.
is the case.
But was there anything else? There was nothing else that could give you another impression of black people? Like, for example, movies. Did that give you any positive?
I would say that
views?
again. When I was growing up, a lot of the characters in the movies or on TV would be the black people would be playing negative roles.
Negative
I think
roles.
that's changed enormously, and things like I'm going to say his name, Idris Elba.
Oh yeah.
That played Luther when I remember
Yes.
on TV that, and he gets a lead role in a detective drama, and I think it kind of it's important
Yes.
for that to be represented and for people of all cultures to be seen at all levels of society, not just the black guy as a criminal in a film. But I would say growing up, that was often a very negative portrayal of black people as well.
Right.
And it's taken many years before that to change and for black people to be have more challenging roles and more lead roles. I remember actually one lady that worked at university, she was black. She kind of surprised me because I always believed that kind of some of these racist views or prejudiced views are always held by white people,
Right.
not necessarily from black people themselves. But it's interested me greatly. I found it fascinating that black people can hold own prejudices against their own cultures. I remember she told me that she was going out with a white guy and she said she would never date a black guy again. She said
why did she
they
say
always, she had her daughter and the father had gone off, and she
Right.
was pretty bitter about that, and
Right.
the black guy she'd had since then had always never lasted, never stayed around.
Right.
She said the white guy I'm with now, she said, buys me flowers, he's romantic, I would never ever date a black guy again, he's much better. And she said to me, my daughter feels the same. Her own daughter said to her that if she goes on the bus and she's going to the cinema, if she's going with a black guy, there's trouble, and they'll throw rubbish at the driver, or they'll kind of, show off and be a bit bravado, and she doesn't have a quiet journey home. If she goes to the cinema with a white guy, she goes to the cinema, she gets back on the bus, comes home. So she's also having, and she's black, and she's having a lot of these
Negative views towards her
own kind. Like my Nigerian friend, it's been called a black guy with a white mentality. And he also has a preference for dating white women.
Right.
And some of his friends have said that's offensive, that's racist. What have you got against black girls?
Racist, as
And
in
he's-
racist towards his own
Yeah,
kind.
yeah. And he said that he kind of finds that sometimes they have you can, if anyone wants to send a comment about this,
Yeah.
any black girls out there, about saying that have a bit of a chip on their shoulder and a bit of an attitude. I don't know whether that's the case, but that's what Akin
said.
told me. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is what I wanted to get into actually, the viewpoint of blacks having this negative view on themselves. But it's interesting that that's coming from you, that you're saying that.
Yeah, I was
But-
very shocked.
Yeah, so we're going to get back into that very shortly. But before we do, we're going to go to this commercial break. We'll be right back. And by all means, people, make your comments, whatever they are, we welcome them. All right? So we'll be back right after this. You're in tune to the ECM Foundation with your friend again, Emanuel, with Stephanie from West Sussex.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
It's time for the ECM commercials!
ECM.
When I get older, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be a pimp. What? Okay, man, I'll talk it. Okay, I'm gonna be like, gonna be Emanuel, like a DJ, playing the music from the UK.
ECM.